Do you know that in some places like the North Pole, the sun doesn't come up for days at a time? All that darkness and ice and snow? I would really need a nightlight for that. I wonder what that would look like. I think it would be beautiful with light coming through the ice. And since ice is frozen water, it could be any shape you want. Let's make a North Pole nightlight. The first thing I'm going to need is a styrofoam plate, an LED light, and one of these. This is one of those mini tables you find in a pizza box when you order out pizza. What I want to do is take this and poke it through the center of the plate. Then I take the LED light and I take the two prongs and put them on either side of the leg like this. And when I stick it through and turn it over, you can see the prongs come right out of the middle. Now I need to find something that I can use for a mold for my ice nightlight. And I think I might have something in my trunk of junk. Here we go. This is the bottom of an old pop bottle. And I think this will be perfect for the mold for my ice nightlight. Now the next thing that I need is water because ice is frozen water. So I'll fill this up with some water. I'm going to fill it almost to the top. Now I'll take back my styrofoam plate, and what I want to do is flip it so that the LED light goes into the water. And now I want to put this in the freezer. While that's freezing, it's a perfect time to start working on a holder for our ice nightlight. And I had a really great idea. Check this out. I have a tinfoil container. Now this tinfoil container will be a great holder for my ice nightlight, but first I need to decorate it. So I'm going to take my scissors. I'm just going to cut out some triangles all along the rim of the container. Now of course I want to cover the whole rim with triangles, and when I do, I end up with this. Now to me, this looks like a flower, but I think this flower needs some color, and I have some petals. Check this out. And what I want to do now is add this to my container. So I think I'll start off with a purple petal. And all I want to do is place it right here and just bend it a little bit. Take a clear piece of tape and tape it inside. Next, I want to cover the whole inside rim of my container with petals, alternating from purple to pink to purple to pink. And when I'm done, it looks like this. Now that I've completed the holder, I'm ready to go back to my frozen ice nightlight. Now it's nice and frozen, and all I have to do is just take the plate off, just like this. Then I'm going to take a watch battery, place it between the two prongs, and tape it like this. Now I'm going to slide my ice nightlight out of the bottom of the bottle. Now what I want to do is put this into the holders, and it sits right inside like that. Now it's time to dim the lights. How amazing does this look? The light is coming right through the ice. Now, I didn't stop here. I had some more molds. Check these out. For these, I had cake molds of a bear and a little dinosaur. North Pole nightlights. You know, I've never thrown away a plastic bottle. I've always found a way to Artzooka them. And I was thinking, it would be pretty cool to turn this guy into a jellyfish. Let's try it. To make my bottle jellyfish, I need to start off with an empty bottle. So, I'll take my empty bottle and I want to create the head. And for the head, I'm just going to take a marker and draw out a line along the top of the bottle. Now once I have that, I can turn it over and do the bottom. Now this is for the body. So again, just roll that bottle underneath the marker, and then your lines connect, and we're ready to cut. To make this a lot easier, I'm going to take a little push pin, and I'm going to stick the push pin in the line that I just drew. So I make a few holes right here, and then that way I can take my scissors and easily slide them in. And I cut all the way around, and once I do that, I have myself a head. Now I want to make the body, so I cut all the way around, and then when I'm done, I can take the bottom of the bottle, set it aside, and the body of the bottle is going to be the body of my jellyfish. So now I want to make my jellyfish legs, and to do that, I'll take my scissors, and I'll just start to cut out some tentacles. So I want to cut all the way up not quite to the top. I cut another little strip right here. And then you can see I have a little jellyfish tentacle. Once you've covered your whole body in these tentacles, it'll look something like this. And you can see I have all these cool little tentacles going all the way around my bottle. Now this looks great, but I can make these tentacles look even more realistic, and I'll show you how. I'm going to use a hairdryer. Now this could be a little bit hot, so ask your parents to help you out with this one. I'm going to take my tentacles, crunch them up into my hand, turn it on high, and warm up the plastic. The heat from the hairdryer will cause the plastic to crinkle up and become more wavy. You have to be patient though, because this will take a few minutes. My tentacles look like real tentacles. So now what I want to do is attach them to my body. So I squeeze it together, let it go, and when I put it inside, it looks like a real jellyfish. Now I can make my jellyfish look even more interesting by adding an LED light. Now I'm going to add the light to the head of my jellyfish. All I need is an LED light and 2 twist ties. So I'll take the longer twist tie, feed it through the strap that's on my LED light. So now it looks like my LED light has 2 twist tie legs. Next thing I want to do is feed them through the top of the bottle, grab a hold of them here, and pull them through. Then I bend the twist ties so that they face towards the table. Now I take my other twist tie and I tie those ones into place. So I wrap it around. And the best part about twist ties is all you need to do is twist it to tie it. There we go. Now I go back to my first twist tie and I bring these 2 strips all the way up and they meet at the top. I'm making a loop so I can hang my jellyfish up when it's finished. Once they meet at the top, I twist them. I can reach inside the top of my jellyfish, turn on the light, and my jellyfish will glow in the dark. So I'll bring my body back, stick it inside. Now I have an LED jellyfish bottle. I had so much fun making one of these, I decided to make a whole bunch. Check this out. And this is why I never throw out a bottle. Let's make a greeting card that really jumps out at you. Start off with a piece of paper. The first thing I want to do is fold it in half, just like this. There. Now once I have it folded in half, I just want to make a cut. So with my scissors, I'll carefully cut right in the middle. Now what I want to do is take this little flap and fold it over into a triangle. I just want to make sure that this end right here lines up with the end of the paper. Now I want to do the same thing on the other side. Yes, that looks right. Now that we have these folds, just turn the paper over and fold them the other way. There. Now, open up your paper and flatten it out a bit. Now what I want to do is just fold my paper just a little bit and poke out those cuts. Then fold it down. When we open up our page, we have a mouth. Thanks for making me, Jeremy. Oh, no problem. After you have your folds and your mouth is working, glue another piece of paper onto the back. It creates the back of the mouth. With my glue stick, glue the back of the paper. I want to be careful that I don't put any glue on the folded part that makes the mouth. Once all the glue is on there, line it up and press it down into place. Fold it in half. Now we have a card with a mouth in the middle of it. This is the really fun part. Now I get to decorate. So I'm going to make this one look like a bird. With my red marker, just trace in the face. So that line there. With my black marker, I'll draw 2 nostrils. And 1 right there. I have my beak, I have my nostrils, now my bird needs some eyes. So for the eyes, I just took 2 pieces of paper and I cut them out into eye shapes, and then with my black marker, just drew in the eyeballs. So I'll attach these with a little bit of glue. Just get the back of that eye full of glue so it's sticky. There's 1 eyeball there. And there's the other. I think it needs 1 more thing. How about some feathers? So I just took a few feathers, bunched them up with tape, and now I just find where I want to put them. That looks like a pretty good place to add the feathers. And then with some tape, tape it into place. Now I'll add some more feathers, but this time I'll make a beard, a big old feather beard. So I got a couple more bunched up. That looks like a good spot. There we go. Let's do 1 more thing. Check this out. I found this tiny spring, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it out, just like that, and then with a little bit of green pipe cleaner, stick it right down the middle. And this will be a worm, and it's going to come out of my bird's mouth. I'll open up his mouth and tape it into place. It looks like my bird is eating a worm. Thanks for feeding me a worm. Here's one I did before with the same fold, but just by decorating it a bit differently, I made him an alien. The same fold, but totally different creatures. Here is the rest of my collection. A fish, and a horse, and a lion. You know what makes giving gifts even better? Wrapping them in wrapping paper you made yourself. My sister Natasha loves balloons. Here they are. I'm going to make her balloon wrapping paper with my scanner. I'll put these on my scanner and then move them around until they look the way I want them to. So I can put those there like that, and this big one right under here. And how about just a little bit of space right here? Then scan them. If you don't like the way it looks the first time, just move the balloons around and try it again. Natasha will really like this. Now I need wrapping paper to wrap some presents I got for my cats. I thought it would be funny to wrap the cats' presents in wrapping paper decorated with doggy bones. I cut some bone shapes out of recycled styrofoam. Now all I need to do is just place them on the scanner. Put this big one right here. That looks great. I'm gonna put this piece of paper on top to make a background. Then just scan it. Here it comes. My cats will think this is so funny. And now for my dad. My dad and I play marbles all the time, and I think he would like wrapping paper with marbles on it. First, I'm gonna put a sheet of plastic over the glass. And the reason for that is because I don't want the glass to get all scratched up. Also, it creates an interesting background for the picture. That should do it. Now I'll gently place these marbles on. There we go. Put one there and one there. look at these stars. Just some decorating stars, and I can just sprinkle these right here. The cool thing about these stars is that they add color. Once I have them all in place, I just need to get a background. This purple is nice. Then, scan. I'm using marbles and decorating stars, but the cool thing about this is you can use anything. Old toys work really well. You can even use cutout pictures. If you need your wrapping paper to be bigger, just print off more and tape them together. To finish them off, I made bows out of pipe cleaners, a kitchen scrubby, and elastic bands. I've got a blue sheet of paper. I'm going to take this piece of paper and with my ruler, draw a line. This line isn't going to go quite to the end of the paper. And then I'll do another one on the other side of my ruler. This will be the track that my cloud moves along. I just need to cut each line. So I'll take my scissors and very carefully I'll just cut across like this. There's one there. And now I have my track. But it will be hard for the cloud to slide along this, so I need to cut some more off. That looks about right. And then I'll do this side. Check this out. I've made a cloud for my picture. All I did was take some paper, cut it into the shape of a cloud, then I took some cotton and glued it to the picture. Now I have to attach this to my picture and make it move. If I take this piece of paper and wrap it around like this, that will be able to slide on my track. So to make this really work, I'll just take a little piece of tape and I'll tape right there. I put the tape on the outside because if this loop is taped to the track, well, then it's not going to slide, it's going to stick. I've also made the loop bigger than the track so that it can really slide. Now I have my cloud. I'll take another piece of tape, make a little loop on the back. There we go. And then stick it right to the tab. And now my cloud moves. Now I don't want this cloud to come flying off my paper in the end, so I'm just going to take a little piece of tape and tape the end of my track. And with that tape there, my cloud won't slide off the track. I don't want to have to grab it every time with my fingers, and that's where I thought, let's make a tab. Decoration? I think not. This is a working tab. We're going to disguise this stick with a piece of paper. So I have this long piece of paper here, and I'm going to place it right underneath my stick, just like that. And that's to make the stick look like a decoration. Now I'll attach this to my piece of paper with tape. And we'll just wrap it around. And then one other piece right here so that the stick isn't moving around. Now what I want to do is attach the cloud to the stick. We'll turn this picture over so that the cloud is on the back. And I have my loop that moves along the track right here. Well, I'll take this and I'll make sure that the paper is sticking out. And I'll just attach it to the loop. So I'll stick on my tape like this. Now that should do it. And watch, it moves. Now it doesn't look like much from back here, but if we flip it around like this, and then place Mr. Sun down right there, It's cloudy, now it's sunny, and then cloudy again, but sunny again. Now check this out. I made one earlier. I'm going to tell you the secret to this picture. I've rigged other things in this picture to move in the same way. And I've color-coded these tabs. The blue tabs actually make them work. And the rest are just decoration. There's 2 other blue tabs in the picture. Do you see them? Oh, there's one right there. And when I move this one, it makes the tree do a little dance. It looks like the wind is blowing the tree. Can you see where I put the other blue tab? Here it is. And when the wind is really blowing, this happens. Hey! Oops. Sorry about that. I didn't know you were in the tub. Let's start off with a brown piece of paper about this size. I just fold it like this. One fold there, and one right there. It's kind of like folding a letter. This part here is where the money goes. First, I want to cover the inside and the outside with duct tape because I don't want to see the brown paper every time I open it. I'll start off with a little bit of red tape. And we'll do the inside first. Look at this. I have a bunch of duct tape going over the sides. Well, the cool thing about this is since I have no duct tape on this side, I can fold it over. Fold it there. Fold it at the top too. I've covered the whole inside with duct tape, and now I can do the outside. I think I'll start with this tab right here, and let's make it yellow. I've got my yellow duct tape. I can just lay it right over like that. Now I just want to cover up the rest, and I'll use some blue. Like that. Perfect. I have it all duct taped, but you can see I have some extra hanging over the sides. I could fold this into the red, but I really like this color red and I don't want to mix it with the other colors. Here's a little tip. Take your scissors and cut that extra tape off. When you're cutting your tape, sometimes it can be a little sticky, so go ahead and cut the edge of the paper too. That'll make it a lot easier to cut. Now my wallet is totally taped, and check this out. This little flap sort of reminds me of a creature's mouth. I'm going to shape it up a little more to make it look more like a mouth, using my scissors. And it's just going to be a nice rounded cut. I'll take the corner off, and then I'll do the other corner. There we go. For the inside of the mouth, I'll make a nice big cut right here. And it kind of looks like a big smile. It's looking pretty good, but with some leftover cardstock, I cut out some teeth. Now these ones here, they're smaller because they're on the bottom, and these are bigger because they're on the top. So that'll go right up like that. That looks pretty good. And then the bigger ones can go right over top. So let's fold this down here. All right, I know where I want to put my teeth. I just have to tape them into place. With an extra piece of red duct tape, I'll put a strip right here. Let's see how that looks. Now it looks good, but we got this one tooth that's sticking up a little bit here, kind of a snaggle tooth. I'll play dentist, and with my scissors, cut that tooth a little shorter. There, now he can close his mouth. Now for the top teeth. and I think he's ready to eat up my allowance. Hope he doesn't eat all of it. Now that I have my teeth in place, what I want to do is tape this bottom part down so that my wallet isn't flying open all the time. With some nice, big, long pieces of blue duct tape, I can tape that like this. Perfect. I found a couple of washers, and they were just hanging out in my trunk of junk, and I thought these would be perfect for eyes. I just taped them to pieces of paper like that. And then put some duct tape on the back. I'll take a black marker and color in his eyeballs.
And Artzooka challenge!
For my Artzooka Recycle Challenge, I challenged myself to make something out of a flip-flop and a tin can. I put them in a movie starring Paper Bag. Come on, see what I made. I also put something else in my movie, a horn. See if you can spot where I put it. Now, sit back and enjoy Cinema Artzooka. Here's the tin can, and there's the flip-flop. Can you guess what it is? It's a recycling truck. Now let's see it in a movie. Like the movie? I made a recycling truck out of a tin can and a flip-flop. Hey, did you spot the horn? Take another look at where I put it. Here's a challenge. See if you can make something out of a flip-flop and a tin can. I can put my favorite t-shirt design on my skateboard, and one of the ways of doing this is creating a grid. Now, a grid can help you draw by dividing a bigger picture into a bunch of smaller pictures, and that's a lot simpler. With my pencil and my ruler, I'll create a grid by making a bunch of lines going this way and that way. These bendy rulers are great for this because the skateboard is a bit curved. I'm not measuring out my lines, I'm just using the ruler as a guide. So all my lines are the same width as the ruler. You want to hold your ruler really tight so that your lines don't go all wonky. Now, I need to cover the entire skateboard in lines. And I'll get all these little squares, and it'll look like this. A grid. Now I have a grid on my skateboard, I need to make the same grid on my t-shirt. Now to make a grid on my t-shirt, I don't want to draw all over it because then it'll ruin the shirt. So I'll show you a little trick. Instead of using a pencil, I'm going to use elastics. Check it out. I'll start with a piece of cardboard and just slide it right up into the shirt. And the trick to this is getting the cardboard directly underneath the picture on my shirt. Now that it's underneath, I can take all the extra fabric and tuck it underneath. Another good tip is to make sure that the shirt is pulled nice and tight over that cardboard. And now I'm ready to add the elastics. The elastics stretch over the shirt and make the lines so I don't have to use a pencil. Now that I have a couple of elastics, I want to go back to my ruler and just make sure that the elastics match the width of my ruler, so that way it'll match the grid on my skateboard. That looks about right. Now I'll just match up the bottom. I've got 3 elastics in place, but I want to cover the whole thing, and when I'm finished, I have a grid on my t-shirt. Now we're ready to take this design and put it on the skateboard. All right. I'm going to keep my t-shirt really close to my skateboard. That way it'll be a lot easier to take this picture and put it onto here. Here's another little tip. Line up the grid on the t-shirt with the grid on the skateboard. Just like that. This grid makes it much easier to draw because I just have to draw one square at a time. Let's start with this square. I just draw exactly what I see in this square onto the same square on my skateboard. Just like that. That moon wasn't too difficult to draw. Let's move on to the next square with something to draw in it. 1, 2. 1, 2. Here's a tip. Cover up all the other squares with your hand or a piece of paper, and that way we can focus on one square at a time. This square has a few simple lines. I'll copy them. There's 1, there's 2, and then 1 goes down like this. That's a lot easier. All right, now I have that, I can move on to the next square. So count over 1, 1, 1. This square has a line that swoops down, just like that. Now I just draw in every single square, and when I'm finished, my picture will be complete. Now that I have all the squares drawn, I can paint it any way I want. My skateboard is like a canvas with a cool picture on it. And whenever I have a canvas with a picture on it, I go crazy with color. Check out what I did with this one. Doesn't that look amazing? We have this really cool design, and it has lots of great colors. Not only did I paint the bat and the castle and the moon, but I also painted over the grid on the background. It covers up the grid, and it looks even better than the picture on my t-shirt. Now please, don't forget this important safety tip. Never ride on a work of art. Unless it has wheels. Show of hands. Raise your hand if you have something printed on your t-shirt. Come on, get those hands up. Look, I have one too. Most of the time when you see a t-shirt that has any design printed on it, it's been silk screened. Let's silk screen a t-shirt. You can silk screen using cardboard and old curtain. I used an old curtain, but you can use any fabric that's thin enough for paint to go through. Here's the t-shirt that I'm going to print on. It's pirate black, but yours can be any color you like. Underneath, I'm putting some paper between the layers of the t-shirt. Sometimes the paint goes right through the first layer of the t-shirt, so this will protect it. It's important that it's flat though, or the design might not be quite right. I've made a rectangle out of masking tape so I know where to put my pirate design. We're almost ready to print. We need one more thing, a design. You can use any shape you want to make a picture. Cut them out of recycled magazines or construction paper. I made these out of wax paper. I've cut out a pirate face. So here's a big mouth with an arty tooth. And then here, this is the best part, a ruler and a paintbrush. We need to make the silk screen. We'll start with this frame. This is a cardboard frame that I covered in yellow duct tape. I covered it with the tape to make it stronger and waterproof. That way I can reuse it. The fabric needs to be taped onto the frame. The trick is to stretch it tightly over the frame. Remember, I used an old curtain, but you can use silk or any other thin fabric that lets paint squish through. You might want to get some help making your screen. You have to check to make sure when you put your screen down, you can still see all of the design. Once it's all lined up, tape the frame onto the table because you'll need both of your hands for silk screening and you don't want the frame to move around. Now for the paint. I'm gonna take this paint bottle and drizzle it all over the top, along this line right here. I'm using craft paint. You can use any kind of permanent paint as long as it's not too thick or too runny. You wanna use lots so you don't run out halfway through the design. I'm using so much that it's squeezing out of the sides here. That should do it. For this part, I need a squeegee, and that's a tool that drags the paint evenly across the design. And the cool part is you can use a ruler for this. I'm gonna put my ruler right behind the paint, and with both hands, drag it down. And the paint gets squished right through the little holes in the fabric. The white paint will stick to the parts of the t-shirt that aren't covered with wax paper, but it won't stick to the waxed paper. I'm gonna turn it around and drag it across to the other side. I want to make sure all the paint gets squished through evenly. I'll do a third pass. Now I can take the frame off the shirt. First, lift the duct tape from the table. You'll want to make sure you've wiped any paint off your hands first. Once all the tape has been peeled up, I can lift the frame up. And check it out. Wow, it looks great. But we're not quite finished yet. I just need to peel off the masking tape here. See how perfectly straight the line is? That's because of the masking tape. Your friends will never be able to tell the difference between a shirt you bought at the store or a shirt you made yourself. And when I'm finished, now that's Artzooka.